Hey everybody, we are talking about vitamin C and how vitamin C is a powerful cancer fighting tool. Let's get into it. So, for broken record, I am not a doctor. Anything I say should not be taken as medical advice. Really want to emphasize that. Discuss with your doctors anything you learn here. We want to be a source of information that sends you on a journey to grow in your own understanding and adding to your toolbox in your fight against cancer. All right, so in this video, we're going to go over the science of vitamin C. We're going to talk about food and supplements as a way of introducing more vitamin C to your system. And then finally, we're going to talk about high dose IV vitamin C. So starting with the science of vitamin C. So vitamin C, also known as ascorbic acid, is a nutrient that your body needs to form blood vessels, cartilage, muscle, and collagen in bones. So it's really critical to many functions of our body. I think we often think about it in terms of citrus fruits, but it really is something that our body needs to live. Now, a few interesting facts about vitamin C, now that we've established that it's necessary for life. Humans, and interestingly enough, guinea pigs, can't make it. All other animals can produce vitamin C themselves, but humans and guinea pigs are unable to do so. What that means is we have to get it from external sources. We have to have it in our diet just to get a bare minimum for our body to function. The other interesting fact about vitamin C, and this will become important in a minute, is it is nearly identical in structure to glucose, sugar molecule. They're nearly identical. The only difference is the vitamin C has one extra hydrogen and one extra oxygen attached to it. Okay, that's super important. We'll talk about why in a minute. Okay, so here's where this gets important. Cancer loves glucose. Cancer feeds on glucose in the blood. That's how it feeds itself. If it can't have glucose, cancer cells will settle for vitamin C. Vitamin C is good enough for a cancer cell because it looks and acts so similar. Okay? So here's what happens when a cancer cell absorbs vitamin C. That vitamin C molecule adds an additional hydrogen and an additional oxygen. So now we have 2 hydrogen, 2 oxygen, also known as hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide is deadly poisonous to cancer cells, and it has now been introduced inside of that cancer cell, and it dissolves the cancer cell from the inside out. This is awesome. This is exciting that vitamin C, through this process, becomes a poisonous entity to cancer cells. Now, there's a lot of caveats to the science here. There's a lot that we'll unpack a little bit later, but really, I want to point you to an interview we did with one of our doctors with a whiteboard where she goes into the detailed science of what vitamin C does in our system and how it works. So what I just gave was kind of a summary. That will it's about 15 minutes of in-depth knowledge on how vitamin C affects cancer. So that is linked below. Take a look, and after watching that, let us know if you have any questions. Okay, so the other aspect I want to talk about, so that's how vitamin C directly interacts with cancer cells under certain circumstances. Additionally, there's been a lot of studies that show the effect of vitamin C on cancer treatment side effects. So it's been shown to reduce the side effects of chemo and radiation. It improves sleep and helps with appetite. It reduces recovery time after surgeries and procedures. There's a lot that vitamin C does just on a very practical level as you're going through your cancer journey. So even if that wasn't convincing enough of the effect that it has directly on cancer, the effect that it has on your journey through cancer treatment should really push you over the edge to look for ways to introduce vitamin C. Again, not medical advice, talk with your doctor. All right, so that was the science of vitamin C in a nutshell. Video link below for a more in-depth look at the science. But now let's talk about food and supplements. This is maybe the most basic way of introducing vitamin C to your regimen. So foods, you may think of vitamin C as like you get it from citrus, right? You get it from oranges, you get it from lemons. And that's totally true. Those are great sources of vitamin C. But there are many others that I don't think get the due that they deserve. So just image here shows a number of them. So spinach is really high in vitamin C, and it's really low in glucose. So you're not introducing sugars like you would with oranges. Avocados, really high in vitamin C. Broccoli, really high in vitamin C. Sweet potatoes, turnips, peppers are all great sources of vitamin C. So if you're just trying to find creative ways of getting vitamin C into your normal diet, you have a lot of options in the plant world that are not sweet options, that are not fruit options, that you can still introduce lots of vitamin C into your diet naturally. So outside of food, there's obviously a lot of supplementation options for vitamin C. A few things to think about, because you'll find vitamin C kind of anywhere and everywhere. There's a type of vitamin C that's chelated to a salt. And all that means is that it doesn't taste very good, but it is hyper absorbent. And so your body can process much more of it than a normal vitamin C supplement. And so it's an option. If you really want to up your vitamin C intake, it's a powder that you mix into water and take it really quick. Again, it doesn't taste great because it tastes salty, but your body can handle much more of it than other typical supplements. So I'll link below to a brand that we use and that works great. So another supplement option that's off the beaten path is something called moringa leaf powder. So moringa leaf is really high in vitamin C and really high in antioxidants. And so we actually put moringa and offer it in every cancer box that we send, and we use it in our own cancer journey. It's a fairly inexpensive supplement, and so an easy one to introduce that, again, is just another way of getting vitamin C into your system. The other thing is you can get vitamin C powder, not that salty powder, that might be a little gross, but a normal vitamin C powder that you can add to things like smoothies. And so you're just upping the vitamin C content for a berry smoothie or, some sort of smoothie you'd be drinking anyway. It gives it a little tart, almost like a lemon juice, but an easy way to introduce a little bit more vitamin C to your system. So the warning I'll give, though, is this only applies to supplementation. Don't overdo it. Ease into finding your limits. You'll know when you've overdone it because you'll have diarrhea. That's probably the first. Talk with your doctor, but for us and as people talk about, and doctors we've talked to, it's gonna run through your system and cause stomach upsetness and diarrhea. And that's when you know, oh, okay, yep, that was a little bit too much. Let me take it back. It's an acid essentially, and so it can be really rough on your digestive tract if you're doing too much supplementation. That's what you want to be careful of. Because of that, because it's hard to get really high doses of vitamin C because of its effects on your digestive tract, there is an option that diverts from your digestive tract altogether. So that's the third thing we want to look at in this video. And that's high dose intravenous vitamin C. We're talking about IV vitamin C. So with IV vitamin C, this is a different formula. They don't just take like vitamin C tablets. You can't take that and then crush it up and put it in saline and inject it. This is something that's formulated for IV use. And you can get doses between 20,000 milligrams all the way up to 100,000 milligrams. When Rachel does this, we do this twice a week. When she does it, I think she's at 60 milligrams or 60 grams. So if you know what a normal vitamin C tablet might be, 500 milligrams or 1,000 milligrams, say it's 1,000 milligrams. Rachel's able to get 60 of those tablets in her system, which would wreck her digestive system without any of that effect, because it's straight into her blood. And so it takes a couple hours to drip. You can typically go to many naturopaths that use complementary medicine for cancer treatment, offer vitamin C. Sometimes they'll put other vitamins in there and things that are beneficial, or even some traditional oncologists offer it alongside chemotherapy. So Rachel's oncologist up in Seattle actually offers vitamin C as a part of her normal regimen. So when she goes for chemo, she also gets vitamin C as a part of that. And so we do that, and we also have a naturopath that we work with to get vitamin C as regularly as we can in these high dose. So the high dose IV vitamin C option is the most effective way to see the benefits of vitamin C for cancer. And that really relates to both of the benefits we talked about, how vitamin C directly interacts with cancer cells, and how that's been shown in studies to interact in a scientific environment, and how vitamin C supports your body during really difficult treatment like chemo and radiation. It's a really important thing to consider. Another consideration is it's often not covered by most insurances, and it's rather expensive as well. And so those are trade-offs always to consider in your plan, what you are able to do and what you see and believe is the most effective for your journey in conjunction with your doctors. So those are the conversations to start having, but high dose IV vitamin C, we have found to be really effective in helping Rachel through chemo, and also we believe in the efficacy of it on fighting cancer itself and having an effect on cancer cells. So just some final thoughts here for vitamin C. It's great for your cancer journey. So eat it, drink it, swallow it, and drip it. Those are your options. And if your doctor clears it for you to introduce these different ways of getting vitamin C into your system, it's a great option to consider. In addition, talk to your doctor about introducing high dose IVs as a part of your treatment plan as well. Again, not medical advice, so I want to be really careful here, but definitely worth discussing with your doctors to get medical advice on this topic. So that's what we've got today for vitamin C. Let us know below if there are other topics you want us to cover. Otherwise, be blessed, be safe, use knowledge to take control of your cancer journey.